Hi everyone, welcome to this week's Open Boat. Today we're at my alma mater of Monmouth University, here with Professor John Tiedemann. Professor Tiedemann is the Assistant Dean, the School of Science Director, and the Marine and Environmental Biology and Policy Program. And what he does is he specializes in marine ecology, coastal zone management, environmental science, marine recreational fisheries, and marine environmental education. His current applied research applies studies of striped bass and other recreationally valued species with an emphasis on best practices for the catch and release of angled striped bass. So we're going to talk about today, with the fall run upon us, catch and relief efforts for striped bass, for new surfcasters and returning ones, and what you should do to keep the striped bass population alive and thriving. What are some common practices that surfcasters can do that actually harm the striped bass? Maybe they're not aware that it harms them, but what are some of the things that they can change for the future?
The surfcaster, there's things that you shouldn't do in terms of handling the fish because it can harm the fish, and actually, even though the fish swims rapidly away, has stressed the fish and perhaps results in mortality sometime after the release. And then there's things that you can do to counter those bad practices. For example, you never want to pick the fish up by the gill operculum. You never want your hands to go into the gills. Along those same lines, you really don't want to hold the fish vertically. You want to keep the fish horizontally and support its body. I like to tell people to support it kind of under the head and back by the tail. It's okay to lip the fish if you're rapidly going to release it. And that's the other thing. You definitely don't want this fish to hit dry surfaces. If you're on the jetties, you don't want to drag it up on the rocks. You need to find a spot that you can get down to the fish on the jetties and A, be safe for yourself, but B, safely release the fish. More importantly for us surfcasters along the beach, we don't want to drag that fish up on the sand and have it covered with sand. That protective slime will come off the fish, and that slime really protects the fish from parasites and disease and things like that. So what do we want to do? We want to keep that fish in the water as much as possible. You need to have your waders on. You can be knee deep in the water, unhook the fish in the water, and let the fish swim away rapidly. If the fish seems stressed or lethargic, then you want to revive the fish. You always want to keep that fish moving forward. Remember, fish respire by water in the mouth and out the gills. So either moving it forward into the surf or in a figure eight where the water's always going in mouth and out the gills. Another simple thing is, especially if you're fishing metal lures, just get rid of those treble hooks and put a single hook on the metal lure. On your plugs and other lures, crush the barb. It really will not affect your catching the fish, but it'll allow you for a quicker release. It'll allow you to unhook the fish in a quicker manner. So really what we really say is handle with care. Air exposure, that's another one. You want to get that fish back in the water. If you do have to remove it from the water as fast as possible, think of that in terms of if you fought the fish for a long period of time and it's exercised to exhaustion, and then you remove it from the water. Each one of these steps puts more stress on the fish. So don't go out there with your light trout rod when the fall run is on. Use a good surf rod. Catch the fish, hook the fish, fight it quickly, land it quickly, keep it in the water, and release it as fast as you can.